Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, maybe for some of you. Good afternoon from the Netherlands. My name is Lama Yazbek. I'm the Deputy CEO at Aflatoon, and I will be moderating today's session with our four guests. September 2022, after ongoing efforts from Aflatoon International and more than 60 partners from the network, financial literacy was included in the UN Secretary-General Vision Statement on Transforming Education. This is a very important step for us, but most importantly for children and young people around the world. However, this is just the beginning. Today, we will be discussing the next steps forward. I would like to welcome our guests today. I'm going to start introducing them. I'm going to start with Tintin Kartini. Tintin Kartini is the Education Quality Assurance at the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology at the Republic of Indonesia. She has been working mostly on early child and care education and non-formal education as an educator, facilitator, and instructional model designer. Between 2017 and 2019, with the team from the ministry, she and her team worked on integrating social and financial education into the 2013 early childhood and care education curriculum. Welcome, Tintin. Our second speaker is Mrs. Fatou Dali Bitaye from the Ministry of Education, the Gambia. Mrs. Bitaye works for the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education as Principal Education Officer designated at the Curriculum, Research, Evaluation and Development Directorate. Mrs. Bitaye also serves as a National Coordinator of the Aflatoon program that has boosted and changed the life of Gambian school children moderately. Our next speaker is Zena Muqaddam. She is the Aflatoon Project Director at Ajyaluna, Lebanon. Ajyaluna is currently running its pilot program for grade 2 students to test the impact of the curriculum on the children's perspective and knowledge of what constitutes an active citizen. Once the impact is validated, Ajyaluna will be working towards integrating social and financial education into the Lebanese national curricula. I will wait for the introduction of our fourth guest until she joins. I hope she's not facing many technical difficulties. So thank you. First of all, thank you all for joining us today. We're going to start with our first round of questions. So question number one, before we start with the questions, for all those who are joining us today, if you have any questions, please share them in the chat section. And at the end of the session, we will make sure to address the questions you have with our guests today. My first question for our guest today is, can you please tell us why did your organization or government choose to make financial education accessible for children? And why do you think financial education is important? I'm going to start with Tintin. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about your experience in Indonesia.
Thank you, Lama. Hi, everyone. It's such a great honor for me to attend this meeting. And for the first question, I would like to answer why for Indonesian government financial education is important. And I would like to share our experience, especially when we are conducting the program regarding to early child education. We believe that the earliest children aware about and have the skills on financial is the better, because we know that today currently maybe temptation how we through social media, how many product, many advertisement, if the children doesn't have the skills to manage financial wisely, maybe the children doesn't aware what they want and what they need, and would not differentiate. I mean, it's important to make them understand the children as early as possible to know which is their need and which is what they want. So when the children, the young children, especially early child, know what they want, I think it's a basic skill, basic awareness, and when they are grow up, they will be wisely manage their financial matters. I think it's a basic for all children, as well as another aspect of learning. I think it's my opinion.
Okay, thank you, Tintin. My question is for Zena now. I know you are still at the piloting stage. But what made you decide to pilot financial literacy in Lebanon?
Let me start by putting a little bit of context. So Lebanon is a very small country and it is known for its diversity. We are blessed to have, different religions, ethnicities in a very, very small country. Unfortunately, instead of this adding to our colorful mesh, things have taken the wrong turn. And what is supposed to bind us is now what is dividing us. And in our official curriculum, we lack the skills and the understanding necessary for people to unite their thoughts and their vision together, in which they can create not only a nation, but a better world to themselves and to others. So, and that is especially in the underprivileged kids, the education is really lagging greatly behind. So if you go and you talk about peace building, you will face problems with the word peace. Peace with whom? Why? What are you trying to teach the children? But when you talk about financial skills and empowering the child with these financial skills, then everybody is willing to help, because this is what unites everybody. And while you are teaching financial skills, what are you truly teaching? You're also teaching teamwork. You're also teaching how you have to respect the rules that you have set forth, how to keep track of everything that you're doing. So on one side, you're actually empowering the child, giving him hope and optimism in the future, making him and her feel that they can shape their future. And also you are actually teaching them active citizenship and the universal human rights and basic needs and basic rights of children and adults. So this is why for us really Aflatun has been a key and major element that allowed me to personally go to all the diverse ethnicities in Lebanon and have their doors wide open for me. So this is definitely, it's a great initiative, and we are lucky and blessed to have Aflatun as our partners. Thank you.
Thank you, Zena. To Mrs. Fatou, can you please share the experience from the Gambian context?
Good morning, everybody, and good afternoon from the other side of the world. Thanks so much for having me as a panel member. I want to say that we are Aflatun and forever will be Aflatun. Just to elaborate or to talk about the Gambia, our experience about Aflatun is very amazing because we got this Aflatun through a pilot, and it's paving the way for us because what we have is learners need to live independently. And when we say that, that means they need to acquire knowledge and skills that will support them in their life after. And providing them with this, it's very straightforward and it's open and it's seen in the platoon that we have. And I will particularly talk to the experience we have in the curriculum, because one country's curriculum determines the type of society that we have. And we want a society that have responsible citizens and they have skills. So piloting this, we have seen that it is a very good program, and gradually we are scaling up because we have a lot of them that have, they know their rights. Maybe if there is, I will explain where a child was able to exercise her right and was supposed to be given her hand to marry at a very early age. But eventually the Aflatun teacher coordinator, and it has gone to a, that now is in university. So having the experience of Aflatun is very, very good. And also we need to create awareness for them to know their responsibilities, and in the long run, their families. We deal with money at home, and also this will have that urge to be able to manage what they have. And also as an experience, we have seen that now they know that it's not only money that they save, but policies, and it has down to the schools. So maybe I'll just give chance to others.
Thank you very much. My next question is for Tintin and Fatou. Since you already have done the integration into the national curricula, how was it received by the students, teachers, but also parents? We know in many countries, the curricula is usually packed, and every time we want to add something new to it, some people might complain, some people might find it useful. How was your own experience in Indonesia and the Gambia? Maybe we can start with Tintin.
Okay. Maybe for the better description, I would share with you the project we had in Indonesia. So okay. Nah, let's jump to the second slide. Okay, so in Indonesia, we have already prepared for the financial education since 2016. We have Ministry of Education has signed a memorandum of understanding, and then in 2017 we began the development by adoption of Atun program, and then after that we made a piloting project in which we try to contextualize the program, the Aflatun program, into Indonesian context, especially for Sundanese context. Maybe we can see here, this is how we contextualize the program. Maybe we have here two kind of icon. Sorry. The first one, it is the original icon from the Aflatun, and then we try to localize the icon by using the handed here. It is a Sundanese cloth, so the icon, the Aflatun, become the Sundanese icon. And then we also contextualize the content, the illustration. Here we see the food, the kind of food we try to make as possible as the student realize the example and then the context as what they see every day. So this is the first step. We try to make the financial education before we integrate it into the curriculum. This is the first step. We do research in 2017, and then in 2018, we develop another document based on the program. Because in Aflatun program, we have 5 chapter, 12 module, and 41 activities, and we integrated it into 2013 curriculum, SEC curriculum, and we focus on the age of 5 to 6 years. The original is for 3 to 6 years, and we focus on the 5 to 6 years old target. And then here are the product for 2018 we have, and it is developed in Jaya Giri Center in Bandung. So the context is Sundanese context. And then in 2019, we develop the model more places. I mean, we have 16, yes, 16 province who develop and adapt the model, the Sundanese model, but it is localized, contextualized to each local context. Because in Indonesia we have so many cultures, so the 16 models produced in 2019 based on local wisdom.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Thank you for this explanation. But what I understand from you is that contextualization is actually a very important step to make this, first of all, accessible, but also acceptable for the students, but also teachers and parents. The same question for Fatou. How was your experience after integrating financial education into the national curriculum?
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to throw light on how the process they use the integration. As I explained earlier, through a pilot. So this pilot, it was known as extracurricular activities, where that students will come after. It was not part of the school activities. So small funds were also provided for children for savings, and we also had some teachers that were trained where that they were giving some tips at the end of the month. So that served as a motivation for them. But after the pilot, when we did review, we realized that this is a program that needs to be scaled up, that needs to be, given. But what we have realized is that then by the time, it was handed over to women, but you can see for some time nothing happened because of the challenges that we had. One of the challenges is, was done as an extracurricular activities. The reason why some parents or some of them participated because of the money attached to it. And also you have teachers that were using their extra time after school to come on the activities. So not being able to do that or to pick it up at that stage, then there was, a break on the 17th when we had funding from UNICEF that we were able to pick it up again through entrepreneurship. So what we did was we said, well, if we are supposed to integrate this or for every child to have access to this, we need to change strategy. We don't have to go back to the pilot process because it was good, but it posed some challenges. So what we did was we asked all those that were part of the pilot, and then also the cluster monitors. The cluster monitors are monitors that normally go to schools to check for these activities. We asked them, now that we have this program and we have piloted and we have this, but it was through the success stories that I've seen parents talking. So what do you think will be able to do it? Give their different opinions, and we also stakeholder meeting where we to the pilot results and all those things. They give us series of recommendations, and among them was, basically we had two to integrate it, and the other one a subject for social and financial education. But when we look at, or when we weigh the two, we see that already we have overloaded subjects in the curriculum.
Yeah.
And if we want to have it as a standalone subject, that means the time that is due, the time that is important for it to be given, it will not be there. And definitely students or children need this financial education. So then we decided to have as an integration. So this integration, we said now, where do we integrate it? We said we start from the national document, which is the curriculum framework. We have a national curriculum framework that we have, and it is captured under contemporary and pertinent issues, where it is explained that this could not stand as a standalone subject, but it is a very important element of what we are doing. and every child has to be exposed to it. So not only stopping from there, but we are blessed that still now we are into curriculum reform, and we still have opportunity, and we are still developing. So we are in some of these things. So what did we do? We said, let us now look at the clear subject, or the subjects where they will be best integrated. Then we have that the subjects. Now, I speak, it is integrated in science, it is integrated in English, it is integrated in social studies, it is integrated in other subjects, agriculture, economics, as you name them. And all part of it, part of the integration is also to have it during the assemblies. From time to time, they have assemblies, they can pick up one of the teams and then speak about it. If they have Mufti Day, they also talk about it, and also the Afro International Day celebration. So far, that's how the integration is done, and it's still ongoing, because currently we have mathematics and the English group, and they are developing our teaching learning material. Some of those things are already there.
Okay.
So let me stop that for the meantime.
Okay. Thank you so much, Fatou. I'm going to move to my next question. I'm going to start with you, Zena. So globally, we are all talking about transforming education. We are having summits to think through ways of transforming education for children and youth. In what ways can we do it, especially if we think about providing financial education?
Actually, I was very happy to be listening to the Tintin and Fatou on how they have been going through the process of the integration, because this is one thing that is extremely important to understand the steps when you want to approach your government for an alignment. So the first thing is we need to understand how the process is. In my opinion, the financial education is so important, and the curriculum of Aflatun is so well studied and well put. You really need to finish all the hours. So having it as a dedicated hour in the program, I really think would be very beneficial. But then how to integrate this 1 hour in the curriculum? Should it remain as an extracurricular activity? Then it is not available to all, it's optional. Or should it be integrated within the curriculum? And definitely, in my opinion, ultimately it should be incorporated within the curriculum. But to make that transition, then I believe that the first step is to propose it as an extracurricular activity, do a TOT and test the pilot. And then, if it is really with the government, then it should be available in all the schools. And then another question comes out, which is, what age group do you start with? From my experience in Lebanon, our government has already accepted to work on some financial programs within schools that was privately sponsored, but it was with the high schoolers. So maybe in Lebanon, we should start with the high school and then work our way down, I mean, the national integration is something that is extremely necessary and extremely important, but it has to be taken step by step, and learning from other countries' experiences. And with Aflatun guidance, I truly believe that we can put like a manual on how best to do it. And again, the one of the key success of Aflatun is the fact that it allows its partners to adapt depending on the context. So
thank you, Zena. Thank you. I hope the presentations from Tintin and Fatou will motivate you even more, encourage you to push for the integration in Lebanon, and maybe for other participants also here. Thank you, Zena. So we have one question actually from the audience, which is very important for us to address. The integration level. When we talk about integration, there are several types of integrations, but there are different levels of integration. Tintin, you started at the beginning explaining a little bit how the integration took place in Indonesia. Can you take us a little bit through it? Like, was it like a standalone? Was it infused in the different lessons you provide? What is the frequency? Maybe the number of lessons that is provided? Is it evaluated in any way? Can you give us more details about that aspect, please?
Yeah, thank you. We have in Indonesia, there are two kinds of integration: full integration and partial integration. When we use full integration, meaning that all the 41 activities a Platoon program are integrated into the curriculum. So all 41 activities should be teach in the school. But partial integration, we only take some parts of the program into the school or local curriculum. I think it's a kind of integration, and for the integration, we of course school could manage how to evaluate the progress, the achievement of the student based on how they take the integration, full or partial. I hope it's clarify what the question.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Fatou, can you tell us a little bit more about the integration level that happened in the Gambia? Number of lessons, frequency, is it, do you have tools to evaluate it or not?
Okay, thank you very much. As I explained earlier, we've asked about how there are different types or different ways that we can integrate it. You know, we can have it through extracurricular activities. We have some support. They have some garden. Some schools are provided with garden, poultry, soap making, and school can. This is one part that the Platoon is integrated, where you know we have Platoon clubs, and children normally have their own rules, their regulations. When and how do they take part in these activities? So that aspect of the integration, whatever is being learned as a theory in the class, especially in the upper grade where you have the upper classes, age 14 upwards. For example, if they learn about agriculture, they can easily practice that in the garden. If they learn about fruits in science, they can easily see those fruits or vegetables. So that is one aspect of the integration where it's not like it's hidden curriculum or extra curriculum sort of. So the integration of the curriculum is like whenever connected to these syllabuses or learning, teaching and learning, they are learning about it. And eventually it will be part of the assessment because they will be asked. That's why for us, we didn't opt for the standalone subject, because if we have it as a standalone subject, likelihood that they will you know, it's not, that means whether you want them to learn it or not, they will miss it. But if we have it integrated, when you go through that curriculum, you will learn about it. So that is, those are the things that we done in the integration. So for example, if you have an English language, we tell them, if you have an English language, you can give them word problem. If you say Zainab's father has a mango tree, and then in 2002, he harvested 30 bags and sold 2 bags, then the other bag was kept for the farm. How many bags? Then another question you can ask, if it was you, what will you do with the other bag? You know, there are a lot of financial things that are there. You can talk about savings, you can talk about rights and responsibility, or you can talk about budgeting, planning, so many things. So that's how the integration and they are subject to the national curriculum. For sure, they will learn about it. And also at the level, although it's not yet expanded, all the schools have the Aflatun graduating on the that we have. When we have this small sub-project, we normally invite the community, the Mothers Club. So this Mothers Club, they are attached to the school, they have them in the schooling. So when they bring the materials, we tell them this is for the school and it will help you. When you have the garden, they will sell to you and your family. You will have your garden, your children will sow from it. So at community level also, that's what we have. But we did not have like a tentative or a particular team also to say that this is for Aflatun. No, it's through the integration. If you are teaching science, then we train you how do you integrate that. You are teaching them vegetables, you come with the aspect of the. So that's what we have in the game.
Thank you. Thank you, Fatou. Tintin, you mentioned at the beginning the importance of contextualization to make it more accepted and adapted, of course. I would like to go more in depth into the contextualization. What are the considerations we have to take into account when we do financial education in a specific country? And do you think all children, regardless of region or context, should have access to financial education?
Okay, thank you. I think financial education is a universal needs and skill that should be acquired by all children. But regarding to region and other condition is our consideration when we want to bring it to school. I mean, the skill is universal, but we must contextualize so that student, teacher, and also school could accept the concept with their own condition. Especially in children, they learn something based on what close to them. So in early child education, it is very, very important to bring the context, bring the context and situation into their world.
Yeah.
I hope it's answered that question.
Yes, thank you so much. Can you give us few examples you had to adopt in Indonesia to integrate social financial education into the national curriculum? You gave an example of the fireball and the costumes and so on, but can you give us additional examples on contextualization?
Okay, maybe I would share the presentation to make it clear. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Here we have some basic competence in 2013 curriculum. So we have basically there are six aspect to develop, and in Aflatun we have physics, and then we have also physics and other, but we have to contextualize in Indonesian context by adding the aspect of moral, spiritual, and art. And moral, spiritual, art are not present in Aflatun program. The main the main value, but we have art, and then we have art, spiritual and moral in national curriculum. So in the contextual also adding the three aspect of children development, and then other example also the song. Yeah, the song, and then the character in Aflatun we have a bird, a kind of bird, and we contextualize in a local bird. And then we have also I have to check this first, but many of component in the programs, in the model and the activities, we try to make it as close as possible to what the student experience in their daily lives.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much. Zena, I know you haven't finalized the integration, but you are still in the pilot stages. But seeing the complexity of Lebanon as a country, what are the contextual considerations you think you need to?
Actually, we have implemented a lot of, yes, we already did, starting from the character of Aflatun. So Aflatun is a fireball.
Yeah.
And in our regional meeting, a very important, subject rose up. A fireball, why a fire? And then you can have, and as I said, the religious diversity that we have in Lebanon, unfortunately, is being taken to a place where it is a divisive matter. So instead of having people questioning why is it a fireball, we decided to change it to Aflatun being an outer space character coming to visit. And in the song, there are specific countries that he has visited. And knowing how the Lebanese are, they're going to question why this country and not that. So we removed all these countries and we've put the various, landmarks of Lebanon, that he has visited, and now he is coming to you. Okay, so and then across the curriculum, you have many stories that Aflatun uses to facilitate concepts. So these stories, we also took them and we contextualized them to the Lebanese culture and what is available in Lebanon.
Okay, thank you, Zena. Fatou, maybe you can also share your experience.
Okay. First, when we'll start from the teachers, because I also say that for the integration is also important. We know that it's not only integrating it into the curriculum, but it's also important that the teacher education is also included, and also the assessment. Because if you have the curriculum, it's the teacher that is going to teach it. So the teacher also needs to be exposed, and also the assessment body. That's why when you have it in the national curriculum, when questions are set, they are also set on that part, so that they are also assessed. So when we train teachers, we train them on the things that we have in the Aflatun. We use the Aflatun manual, but we contextualize it, just like the previous speaker has said. For example, if you have games, we have a game or an activity, the orange pick. So what we do is, normally we can say orange picker, but you can use something else. You can use a mango, you can use something else. Instead of picking you can even run to the other person. So we contextualize it, and then you will see that once they exercise, the children become very happy and they will use it. And we all use the common one, for example, that children love most is the introduction, where they hug each other to say in pairs, to say my name is you will see that easily they tend to remember that. And if they are giving poems, they also sit in a circle and they will say, Aflatun, forever, we are. Then in a minute of them will be able to recite it. So you will see that Aflatun has a strategy, and everything on this participatory games. So some of us, we even tell them some of the activities that we have in the Aflatun, we can even use it for your other classes. So using the Aflatun manual, definitely, but constantly, very, very hard. So in the training of teachers, that is what we normally encourage them to do.
Okay, perfect. Fatou, since you're talking about the importance of teachers training, we also have a question from one of the participants about what kind of training and how often. Maybe can you elaborate a little bit more on that one?
Okay, I will always go back to our challenge to go and taking force, although they have, because providing me is like their staff and then what it is. But what I mean is full support, like a budget being allocated also. But we rely wholly on sponsors or support from UNICEF and Child Fund. So every year we normally have 2 trainings for teachers. And what we do is we select schools that a teacher or teachers to train them on the manual. So once they are trained, we give them the manual, and during the training, they prepare lesson plans, and we show them how to integrate this Aflatun into the program or to the subjects that they are teaching. For example, if they are teaching science, we ask them, now go to syllabus, pick a topic where that Aflatun is integrated. Pick a topic where you think that Aflatun is not integrated. But in fact, sometimes they pick a topic where they don't feel that in Aflatun is not integrated. But at the end, they will even realize that that is the topic that where even Aflatun is. So we go through with them, they prepare their lesson and they teach, they micro teach in the presence of their colleagues, and we help them. So that is one of the ways that we train them. And also we give them the games, we do games together. We teach them or we train them on how to help children to set up their afloats. So when they go back, we also make a follow-up to them. Before they leave, we ask them to develop sustainable plans so that once they're from the training ground, what they need to go enlighten their administration, set up job, and then they'll start some. So we follow up. After the training, if you do very well, you come up with things on your own. If there is support from outside for a school support, so we choose your school and we support it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So many of you mentioned a few challenges that you faced undergoing the integration. Are there other challenges you would like to share with us? And what were the measures taken to address those challenges? Then you mentioned contextualizing and changing some elements in the current curricula so it fits into the context, but maybe you would like also to share with us some other challenges you faced?
Sorry, I'm unmuting myself. Okay, so of course, in our again specific situation, not only do we have suspicion on what is the end, aim for anything that you do that is in education, we also have a problem with having the necessary support, because we are a country in distress. So our basic needs in Lebanon are not being met. Children that the rate of dropout in children education this year has been flagrantly high. So when you're talking about, improving on the quality of life, you are being, responded by, what about the basic needs of the quality of life, right? So within that environment and within that context, we've decided that we will keep marching in, because at the end of the day, we are not working for results for today, but we are working for a very long-term vision. And we know that this is the right direction. So whatever obstacles or challenges we are facing, we are ready to face them. We will take them step by step until we reach the necessary full integration, no matter how long it will take, honestly.
Okay, thank you, Zena. Tintin, maybe you would like to share a different challenge with us and ways for you to, how you addressed that challenge?
Okay, thank you. Maybe I would like to address some challenges we face. Maybe when we are trying to integrate something into existing curriculum, it's not an easy way. I think many things should be considered, and then we should provide the teacher with the correct or the guidelines, and then also maybe we should also provide them with other assistance. And the second is about time. They have a set of objectives, and then they should also include the objective how to integrate the financial education. So they struggle with time. The teachers struggle with time, and then the other things regarding to the support from the parents. As we know that student early child education student usually spend about 4 hours in school, and mostly they spend hour at home. So it should be there should be inline understanding between teacher and parents, and it's also not an easy way to make the parents also understand that they should also encourage a student with the financial education at home. I think it's some of the challenges we already faced so far. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Tintin. Fatou, you also shared a few challenges with us. Is there something else you would like to mention or to add?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I have talked about funding, which is, I think, everybody's challenge.
Yep.
But so far, the small support that we have from UNICEF and Child Fund, we are saying a big thank you to, and also to Aflatun International, because they also provide technical support to us and also training. So apart from that, we have another major challenge, which is the monitoring, because everything that you do, it needs to monitor. Because if you teachers, you provide them with support and you don't follow them up, for some time they will become relaxed, and if they don't see anybody following them, then that project can, have a problem. And we are facing that because we only have monitoring once a year, and that is provided by UNICEF. So what we normally do is, as we are providing them with the school support, we also do the monitoring, so that the time that we are going to do the monitoring, we will do it. And you will see that in that monitoring, sometimes we even have lack of support from the school administration. And when you ask them, select a school, select a teacher, they are the very one that select the teacher. And when they go back to start something, they will think that start something means you have to give them. But Aflatun is not about every time receiving. You have to start something that shows that you have skills from what you learn. So monitoring is a major problem for us. And also for parents, yes, it's a challenge. But what we normally tell the teachers at the training ground is, these Aflatun clubs that you are going to help children to establish, they will need to work at times after school. So the children have to tell their parents that we have a club called Aflatun Club, tell them the objective, what we do, because sometimes you need them to come during weekends or after school. So their parents need to know why they are doing that, and they need to know what is happening there. So for the parental bit, sometimes in the training, we tell them how parents could be involved. And as I explained previously, we have what we Mothers Club. And in the Mothers, any development at school, they are aware of it. But there, the challenge is Mothers Club, they also have their own development. So once these things comes to the school, they may feel that they should have a part in it. So also we sometimes have a problem in that. So basically, I'm also scaling, because if you see Gambia, definitely by this time we should have been somewhere else, because 2017 we are still trying to scale up, but gradually we will be there. Because as of now, if we should say 100% is, we are 40 something in the scaling up. Not every school, is enjoying this Aflatun, and it is something that it worth scaling up. The other challenge also is integrating it into the teacher education program, although it is into the curriculum. But once we have it in the curriculum, we have that alignment with the teacher education curriculum and the national curriculum. So maybe gradually also it will be there. But since we have it, maybe at one day, it needs to be part of the teacher education program. It's very, very important. So far, those are some of the challenges that we have. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. And despite all those challenges you all have mentioned, you're still proceeding. So that's amazing. My next question is about the practical steps for government, civil society, donors, and other education stakeholders to ensure that all children and youth have access to these essential skills. It's also similar to one of the questions we received from the participants about the practical next steps and efforts to bring awareness to on financial education. What do you think are the practical next steps for all those stakeholders? Maybe I can start with Tintin.
Okay, thank you for the question. I think financial education in Indonesia has already have been developed for 6 years, and I think it's should be continued to other contexts, other models, and other programs. And because when we have a program in the community and schools, it is also a challenge when we government doesn't do not assist it for the future. So it should be a sustainable sustainability of the program should be maintenance. And in the context of Indonesia, we in 2021 we the government gave the option of the curriculum into 3 option, and the newest curriculum, Merdeka curriculum, provide much more flexible opportunity to include the financial education into the curriculum from the early child education, primary education, and secondary education. So I think it's a very important for us in government, in society, and also in school, how to maintenance the education in any other form, any other possible form in school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Tintin. Zena, according to you, what are the practical next steps for all those different stakeholders to make sure that financial education can become, accessible for all of them, for all the children?
Actually, we have already established a 5 years plan to, get us to where we would like to go. So for us, once we're establishing the validity of the impact of the curriculum on the children, the next step for us is to actually approach the government with a specific ask, and it should be funded. We cannot go to the government without already having a very detailed project specific to one grade or the high school, the 3 grades of high school, specific program as an extracurricular activity. Let us pilot it in 5 districts, 1 school in each. That works, then we expand and we start going into, the lower grades. And then if it can be incorporated within the curriculum rather than as an extracurricular activity. So these are the steps, the practical steps that we need to take.
So basically you need the evidence that it works, and then you need, of course, the funding and the support from governments and donors to make it happen. Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you, Zena. Fatou?
Yeah.
Same question. What are the practical next steps for all those stakeholders to make financial education accessible for all children and young people around the world?
Yeah, I would just say that it's related to the first question, which is transforming. Once you have something and it of course it works, but you need to change to have it work better. So the bottom line is we should provide skills that are required by children. And how do we do that? We need to catch them whilst they are young, and the best place to catch them is the curriculum, because you take them through the curriculum, they are able to read, they are able to learn, and they are aware, and in the long run, they will influence the family. And once the family is influenced, then everything will work. So providing them with skills through the curriculum, and that one I will just advocate for integration. And then we also have more training of teachers, as to how to go about these things. And the most important thing also is for monitoring. And I would also say in the case of the Gambia, we need more government commitment and also more stakeholder involvement, because I can see from the chart whether we include banking, because for us, we have banks, we have financial bureaus and other things which maybe we can tap on their experience, collaborate with them, they might have interest in it. So stakeholder involvement is also very important. Thank you.
And how do we get to that? Zena mentioned the importance of evidence. Of course, funding is always a factor. What else do we need?
May I suggest
Please.
something? Okay, one thing that I love about the financial curriculum at Aflatun is having a project. And they have to sell and make money and put the budget and stuff like that. So even though in the curriculum, it is something that we do at the end of the club. I decided to start with the project that I give to them. And then at the end, they have to come up with a project. So we're starting with an aloe vera that they have to take home and water. So this way they are involving the parents already. And then the parents will start understanding that their kids are working on a project to make money. Okay, it's going to be a little money, but that fact makes the parents really engaged. So as I said, so far the feedback that we are getting is truly superb. So if we are to also, engage the parents, and of course, when we're talking about evidence-based, impact, there is the qualitative and the quantitative. I am sure, like in Indonesia, you've been, working on the curriculum, implementing the curriculum for 6 years. I'm sure that we can get some good, material from the students themselves and from the parents and the teachers on, what impact they have seen on the child, and the child saying himself what impact it has given him. When we want to, present to potential donors, they really need to see the numbers, and they really need to see the emotionality of the actual, impact. So such material, I believe, is also necessary.
Okay, thank you, Zena.
Zainab, sorry, can I just add on to that? I think, Zainab, I like that, because if I can share experience we have in the Gambia, because we had one guy who was in the provinces. They have this Aflatun club at their school. So they were supplied with poultry materials. And then from that poultry materials, she was able to establish her own poultry at home with the help of the brother. So what she did was, from the gains that she has from that poultry, she uses that to pay her school, to pay her university. And right now, she left the poultry with the mother. So you can see that it's like the influence has come, and the involvement of the parents has come. And now, funnily, other members of the community are trying to, I will not say copy, but they are trying to learn that. And they're doing their own small business, which is, is something that is extra very good. So as Zainab is saying, maybe we can use that evidence base. It's something that we can learn from it, and then, present it to other stakeholders where we can get support.
Thank you, Fatou. We are reaching the end in a way, and I would like to ask the participants to share their questions in the chat section so we can address them. I still have one question we haven't addressed. It's from Camilo from Colombia. Camilo is asking, do you also integrate banking in your programs? Is it a good idea to include it as part of the practical side of financial education, or does it depend on the context of each country? Who would like to answer that one?
May I? Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. In my opinion, it depends on the context of each country. Like in Indonesia, we have the local wisdom. We have to save money. We call celengan. It's a box we place at home, and children save their money to the box. And maybe it's not a banking, but it's a beginning how they know, they aware of the importance of saving money. They don't go to the bank, but they already do it at home.
Thank you.
Maybe
Thank you.
in other contexts we have another local wisdom.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. Any other question from the participants? Okay, maybe I can ask our guests. Would you like to add something on financial education, its importance, maybe a specific example you would like to share with our participants today that we haven't addressed?
As I said at the beginning, I would like to reiterate reiterate that for me, the Aflatun curriculum on the financial empowerment of children gives them also a lot of social necessary skills and ethic, and these are very important. And under the umbrella of the financial education, we can really influence the children and their parents into shaping their perspective on life and how to be, more in control of their future and to work and aspire for a better future. So the fact that the UN is adopting this is extremely, encouraging for us and gives us hope in the future. So again, we are, I believe, all of us, whether we are, participating or speaking in this conference, we are all committed to keep on working towards the implementation on a national level.
Definitely. Thank you, Zena. One request from one of our participants is maybe we can highlight a little bit more success stories from teachers or caregivers that we can also build on. Maybe something you can share, Tintin, from your side?
I don't get the question.
Can you share maybe a success story from the teachers or caregivers that we can build on?
Maybe I can share my own experience. I have
Sure.
a six years son, and he when he want something, he always ask in bahasa Indonesia, Mom, do you have money? And I ask, what for? I need something if I need food. But when when he asks for toys, he will say, I want. So I appreciate the teacher when because my son could differentiate with what he wants and what he needs. And it is important because when I say you don't need extra toys, so he will not persist to ask me to buy him a toy because it's a want, not a need. I think it's my own experience.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
Tintin.
you.
Thank you, Tintin. Fatou, would you like to share something with us?
Yeah, for me personally, I have learned a lot from the Aflatun because I have encouraged some of my colleagues to start savings, because once I talk about saving, they will tell me, how can you save when you don't have enough? But I will explain to them, it's not only money that you save, but you save other valuable things. So right now, the cleaners that are in our office have all joined the credit union and saving, and it is helping them. At home also, I have a child whom you know that I'll give a 1 week lunch so that she manages herself. And at times will come and ask, look at what I have bought. I say, where do you get money from? He said, from the savings that I made from my lunch. I say, now you have to buy this thing. He said, but you teach us how to save. So sometimes my friends will give me, then I will save that. At school, so one of the success stories, as I explained, other success stories that we have, in one of the provinces, we have a child who has their house burned and everything was burned to ashes. But through the help of the Aflatun, they were able to put things together and bought her school bag, some books for her to continue schooling. And also in another school in one of the regions also, they were able to mobilize themselves and they buy kettles so that they will save water that they are wasting from the tap during prayer time. Instead of going through the tap to perform ablution, they buy many kettles and you can use this kettle to save water. So those are some of the things that you will see attitudes changing, that you will be happy that at least something has been done. Thank you.
Thank you, Fatou. We have Laura here. Laura is our fourth guest. Laura, can we see you?
Hello, everyone. You hear me?
Laura. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for joining. Let me introduce you very quickly. You are a Colombian industrial and environmental engineer. You finished your degree project in STEM education. And since 2022, you are a member of Enseña por Colombia team as a development specialist, and you are supporting the relationship with the private sector partners, and you are coordinating the financial education project with Teach for All, Credit Suisse, and Aflatun. Thank you for joining today. We've had a long round of questions, a series of questions that we have addressed with our guests today, but we would like to also hear from you about your own experience. Why do you think financial education is important, and in which context you are implementing financial education in Colombia?
Okay, well, we think here that leadership is a key component to transform education, including financial education. This is the case because only good leadership is open and eager to transfer the status quo of education where financial education has no space. Only good leadership has the growth mindset to explore, learn, and implement new programs and strategies in the classroom. Also, through building programs like the one we have here in Colombia with Teach for All, Credit Suisse, and also Aflatun, when we can have like a multi-stakeholder approach where different community members can play an active role around our children's education. Here in Colombia, it is clear that our populations are missing those competences, and that's why this program has had a great impact for citizens' economic lives and for our children. We think that this component is important. They become a component of the daily life of our children and of us, and those words need to be the same as when we are talking about, when we talk about concepts like savings, credit, and interest rates. They need to become commonplace words in our society, just like a glass of water. And this is something also that is visible in the global context. While low-income countries have some of the lowest financial literacy rates, globally implementing financial education curriculum in schools all over the world, it is a necessity. And with our program, we have been able to see some testimonies, some histories of our students that let us know that this has a very great impact in class. We have developed critical spaces for deep reflections inside the schools, also with this gender view, where we need to empower our girls and also our young women. And I just want to tell you one of our stories in class in a region that is Barranquilla. Our teacher, Elizabeth Dominguez, based on one of the activities in the curriculum of Aflatun, her fifth grade students were able to identify some infrastructure needs in their classroom related to the lack of ventilation and light, and they developed a strategy when they began when they collect 1,000 Colombian pesos to improve this challenge by buying some little, I don't know how to say that, sorry, where they changed like the infrastructure of the classroom, so they were able to have bigger ventilation and also more light. So this type of stories really is something that let us know that this curriculum is very important, not for only the children who receive classes from our teachers, but for all of them.
Thank you, Laura. You just shared one success story with us. Can you also share with us some of the challenges you faced in making financial education accessible to the young people you're working with?
Yeah, sometimes we have some elements like the bureaucracy in the schools. So it's kind of difficult that school principals really give to the teachers the spaces where they can give this curriculum to the students, because it is not obligatory here for our Colombian government. And also in this moment, we have a training for teachers that is in a virtual scenario. So sometimes they leave the program or they don't feel they are engaged, or maybe the school principal didn't give them the space. So these were like the main challenges we have this first year, when we also learn on how to implement this curriculum. And I think that something that it was a challenge, but it resulted in something very good, is how we contextualize the curriculum for Colombia. So it was kind of difficult, like, to change. It spent for us a lot of time, but at the end we have beautiful booklets with Colombian images, with Colombian examples, and our teachers then tell us that it was very easy to adapt this curriculum to different contexts, to rural schools, to urban schools, and also to indigenous communities where we also are.
Okay, perfect. Can you give us an example about how you were able to contextualize the content to the Colombian context?
Okay, so we first of all think that we need to take all the components of Aflatun, like the social ones, the other one of rights and duties, then the specific financial concepts, and the entrepreneurial in all the years, but with a deepened component. So that was like our first criteria. Then we start looking for those lessons that we want for the first year. And specifically, we had a team who was in charge during a long period of time of taking each one of the lessons, read them, change the examples, change the names, change the currency of the money that there was. And after that, our communication team was in charge of making all it beautiful with drawings. Also, we changed the name here. The name is De mi bolsillo al aula, which means from my pocket to the classroom. So also it is relevant for us and for the students and the teachers too.
Okay, thank you so much. Anything else you would like to share with us as we are reaching the end of our session today? Something we haven't covered that you think is important to share with our participants today?
Well, I will want to say thank you for this space. Sorry, I have some inconvenience here with the change of hours, but I'm very happy to be here. And I don't know if someone wants to know more about Colombia, you have my email. I will also be open to share with you what we have developed. Also, we have different measurement instruments that I know that's something very important for the different countries when we implement. We want to see those changes in our students and also in our teachers. Yeah. So we have developed different measurement and evaluation strategies. And thank you again for this space.
Laura, maybe you can share a little bit more about that, because it was one of the elements that our guests talked about, the importance of monitoring, but also evaluating the impact of financial education. So you mentioned the tools you have developed. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yes, sure. We have here in Colombia an entry and an exit survey for students. When we have all these different modules and we look what are those variances that students may have across all the program. And also we have another survey for teachers when we analyze from the training part until the end, because we want to know what or how we can improve for next year, what they feel more comfortable. For example, in the case of the teachers, it was evidence that the hours were not adequate for them, because that was like a space for personal issues. So we need to modify that. In addition, here in Enseña por Colombia, we have a specific a leader of this area who is in charge of collecting all these surveys and analyzing them, like to have graphs, to have some statistics, and to see what it's our focus for this year. And also we have some other instruments that are more for the follow-up, for the support of the teachers to know which are all those like checking points to know where the students are in that moment. But that's, as a general, how our measurement and evaluation teams look like right now.
We have one question from one of the participants about that. So Nancy is asking, are you using the Aflatun tools, or have you added or developed your own tools from scratch?
We receive Aflatun's tools, but after that, we also contextualize them. And we select the ones who were accord to what we were developing this first year. And we make some modification specifically of language, because sometimes in each country is different, the financial word.
Okay. Thank you, Laura. I guess these are the questions for today. If no additional questions from the participants or our guests, I would like to close the session.
I just want to ask one, sorry.
Yes, Fatou?
Colombia, I just want to ask Colombia, the books that you have developed, is it for the Aflatun content that you have contextualized, or is it from the integration you have? Or did you take Aflatun text and then just transform that into students' book? I'm interested in that.
We received 2 books from Aflatun, the one which name is Aflatun, and the other which is Aflatin Plus, that is the one with the gender view. And with that, we made all the process that I just explained to you. But in this moment, it's like we have our own booklets based on the Aflatun lessons and sessions.
That's what I mean. I said the Aflatun books that you have, the lessons that you have, are they from the Aflatun or your own themes or your own topic?
Excuse me, it was
No.
like, it hears.
It was
Can you
cut, Fatou. Can you repeat your question?
Yes. I mean, you know, she explained that they have their own textbooks.
Mhm.
I'm just asking whether the book that they have, you know, have themes or topics. Whether those topics, I know they are contextualized, but those topics, are they from the Aflatun manual or the Aflatun book you have made from, and then you contextualize it, or do you come up with your own topics?
No, they are the topics from the original Aflatun and Aflatin Plus books.
Okay,
Because
thank you.
where they are the experts in this issue, and it's not so good like to start from nothing when there is something already done that is really, really nice and with
Okay.
very good topics and activities. Our teachers also love the methodologies that are very practical and active learning. That's something that students really like in this moment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Fatou. Laura, thank you once again. So we have seen during the last hour and a half that financial education works for different age groups, and it works actually in different contexts. Of course, it requires contextualization. It requires engagement from different stakeholders. Teachers are at the center, so it's important also to train teachers and to give them the right motivation and incentive to deliver financial education in the day-to-day school life. So what I would like to say is a big thank you for our speakers and our attendees who joined us today from all around the world. Aflatun and its partners, we are all available to support any organization that would like to make financial education accessible to children and young people. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are here to provide any support at that level. And I would like to wish everyone a good evening and thank you again.